Okay, that'll do. All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Big John, and welcome to another episode of the Disability Show live. This week, coming to you from my condo at Sunday River. This week, I want to go over some tips for Festival of the Holidays at Epcot. So, this is Epcot's shortest festival, happening now through the 30th. Now, you want to start by getting a festival passport. And that lets you know about all the offerings during the festival. I mean, you got Santa meeting in Communicore Hall and Santa Goofy in the Odyssey. One of the biggest draws of the festival, of course, is the Storytellers All Over World Showcase, which how they celebrate Christmas or the holidays in various parts around the world. And there's that Hanukkah guy in the American Adventure. And of course, the biggest draw of the Festival of the Holidays is the Candlelight Processional. But perhaps my biggest tip for doing Festival of the Holidays, pace yourself. Because it may be the shortest festival, but that doesn't mean you have to zoom right through it. Trust me, I have experience with that. So anyway, that's my tip. As always, if you have any questions on how to do Disney for people with disabilities, let me know in the chat if you're watching this live, or in the comments if you're watching this later, and I'll make sure it gets into a future episode. And now it's time for this week's Top 5. So if you're like me, it's a tradition to watch the Disney Christmas Parade every Christmas morning. And every year, their hosts are top notch. So this week, we're going to cover my top 5 Disney Christmas Parade hosts. Number 5, Ryan Seacrest. Of course, the host of American Idol and Wheel of Fortune. And he hosted the parade from 2005 to 2010. Most of those years, he hosted the parade at Disneyland, and in 2010, his final hosting appearance, he was at Walt Disney World for the first and only time. But he was a great host. He probably brought some youth into the parade, and definitely enjoyed interacting with the crowd, which is what a host is supposed to do. Number 4, the legendary Regis Philbin. So Regis started off as a sideline reporter for the parade until finally making it to the hosting seats in 1990. Trust me, I do my research. And he's probably hosted it the most times. He didn't between for a few years, but then he finally made it back in 2001 with Kelly Ripa. The two of them hosted together for 8 years until his final appearance in the parade in 2008. And of course, we miss Regis. We all do. I'm a game show fan, so he was one of the best hosts of not only the parade, but also Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Regis, rest in peace. Number 3, Mario Lopez. Now, Now we've known Mario Lopez, of course, getting his start from Kids Incorporated to Saved by the Bell and other big appearances, and he hosted the parade twice, once at Walt Disney World and again at Disneyland, and he really brought some spunk and whimsy to the parade, and he definitely had a lot of fun with it too. Which again, what a host is supposed to do. Number 2, Nick Cannon, Mr. Wildin' himself. So Nick started out as just like Regis as a co-host, and then for a couple years he became a parade host officially at Disneyland, and once at Walt Disney World, and then again at Disneyland. And he definitely had a lot of fun with it, and of course that was back when he was married to one of the big performers of the parade. If you know, you know. And my number 1 Disney Christmas parade host, Neil Patrick Harris. Even though he only hosted once, he is still, in my opinion, the best parade host because of his big opening number of the 2013 parade. Are you ready for Christmas? If you haven't seen it, look it up. After you watch this show, anyway. So anyway, let me know in the chat or in the comments who you think is the greatest host of the Disney Christmas Parade. And also tune in on Christmas morning for this year's parade hosted by Alfonso Ribeiro and Jennifer Goodwin. And now it is time for Diz or Dat. Now, on both coasts, Tiana's Bayou Adventure is very splash-tacular. At Disneyland, it is a single 4-person log, and it goes by super fast, and you get so wet you may need an extra set of clothes. I'm not kidding. I've done it. And at the Magic Kingdom, it's double the size, and it goes slower, and you don't get as wet. So let me know in the chat or in the comments which version of Tiana's you prefer. Diz, the Disneyland version, or Dat, the Walt Disney World version. And now it's trivia time. So last week we asked which Disney princess is from New Orleans. The correct answer was, as we said in Diz or Dat, Tiana. Congratulations if you knew the answer. And now here is this week's trivia time question. What is the name of the daycare in Toy Story 3? Be the first one in the chat or in the comments with the correct answer, and you will receive 100 cool points. And now, it's that time of the week. It's time to let you know what Christmas specials you guys can be on the lookout for during this week. So, but before we do, I just want to do my couple disclaimers. Number 1, these are my recommendations, and 2, these are Eastern time zone listings. So check your local listings if you're not in the Eastern time zone. So here is this week's Christmas special roundup. Today, December 13th, on AMC, Pinocchio's Christmas will be in just about 2 minutes at 7:30. Followed by The Leprechaun's Christmas Gold at 8:45. Followed by 'Twas the Night Before Christmas at 9:15. And Jack Frost at 9:45. And National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation at 8 p.m. On Freeform, Merry Madagascar is just wrapping up right now, which will be immediately be followed by Kung Fu Panda Holiday, then Santa Buddies at 8, then The Search for Santa Paws at 10:05, then Santa Paws 2, The Santa Pups at 12:10, followed by Prep and Landing at 2:10, and Prep and Landing, The Snowball Protocol at 2:40 p.m. If you haven't seen it, see it. It's good, but not as good as the original. On MeTV Tunes, Scooby-Doo the Nutcracker Scoob, I think at 6:30. Doesn't say AM or PM, but still, it's a classic. Now, tomorrow, Sunday the 14th, on ABC, the Great Christmas Light Fight on a Sunday. And on AMC, we have a Scrooged at 6:30 a.m. Then we got The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus at 8:30, followed by Rudolph and Frosty's Shiny New Year at 9:45, Rudolph's Shiny New Year at 12:15, and Jack Frost at 1:30. And then 'Twas the Night Before Christmas at 3:15, followed by Fred Claus at 4:30, and The Polar Express at 7. On Freeform, The Legend of Frosty the Snowman at 7 a.m., followed by Home Alone at 8:30, followed by Home Alone 2, Lost in New York at 10:55, Arthur Christmas at 1:30, The Nightmare Before Christmas at 3:30, the Jim Carrey Christmas Carol at 5:10, followed by The Santa Claus at 7:15. Let's see, on MeTV, we have a very Merry Bugs Bunny Christmas at noon. And on MeTV Tunes, we have The Stingiest Man in Town, which is a Rankin Bass version of A Christmas Carol at 5 p.m., followed by the 1971 A Christmas Carol at 7:30. On Monday, the 15th, on AMC, The Leprechaun's Christmas Gold at 9 a.m., followed by Nestor, The Long-Eared Christmas Donkey at 9:30, and The Story of the First Christmas Snow at 10, and The Polar Express at 2:45, and the classic White Christmas at 4:45. On Freeform, Jingle All the Way at 7 a.m., Miracle on 34th Street at 10:30, The Jim Carrey Christmas Carol at 1:05, Home Alone at 3:10, followed by Home Alone 2, Lost in New York at 5:40, and The Jim Carrey Grinch at 8:20, and on MeTV, a very merry Tune In With Me at 7 a.m. On Tuesday, the 16th, on AMC, The Leprechaun's Christmas Gold at 5:30 a.m., followed by Frosty's Winter Wonderland at 9 a.m., and 'Twas the Night Before Christmas at 9:30 a.m., and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation at 8 p.m. On Freeform, Jingle All the Way 2 at 7 a.m., and then Kung Fu Panda Holiday at 10:30, Arthur Christmas at 11:05, The Jim Carrey Grinch at 1:10, followed by the 2018 Grinch at 3:50, then and Home Alone at 5:50, and Home Alone 2, Lost in New York at 8:20. On Wednesday, the 17th, on ABC, the iHeartRadio Jingle Ball at 8. On AMC, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation at 5:45, followed by Elf at 8. On the CW, Best Christmas Movies Ever at 9 p.m. On Freeform, Arthur Christmas at 7, followed by Merry Madagascar at 10:30, followed by The Little Drummer Boy at 11, Home Alone at 11:30, followed by Home Alone 2, Lost in New York at 1:55, followed by The Santa Claus at 4:25, Santa Claus 2 at 6:30, and The Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause at 8:55. And on NBC, Shrek the Halls at 8, and Jimmy Fallon's Holiday Seasoning at 9. On Thursday, the 8th, The Great Christmas Light Fight again. Twice this week. Mom, if you're watching, set your calendar. On AMC, The First Christmas, the story of the first Christmas snow at 5 a.m., followed by Nestor, the Long-Eared Christmas Donkey at 5:30 a.m., Fred Claus at 3:15, that's Deck the Halls at 5:45, and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation at 8. On Freeform, we have The Little Drummer Boy at 10:30, followed by Miracle on 34th Street at 11 a.m., followed by The Santa Claus at 1:30, The Santa Claus 2 at 3:40, Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause at 6:10, followed by Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer at 8:15, and Frosty the Snowman at 9:20. Santa Claus is Coming to Town at 9:55. And on NBC, the Password Holiday Special, which was on the other night. Don't know if it's the same one, but who knows. Followed by a Saturday Night Live Christmas at 9 p.m. Hopefully it's funny. And on Friday, the 19th, on AMC, we have The Year Without a Santa Claus at 9 a.m. and Trading Places at 6:30. On the CW, we have Yogi's First Christmas at 8 p.m., a classic. On Freeform, Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas at 7 a.m., Santa Buddies at 8:30 a.m., The Search for Santa Paws at 10:30, Santa Paws 2, The Santa Puffs at 12:30, Frosty the Snowman at 3:55, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer at 4:10, Home Alone at 5:15, and Home Alone 2 Lost New York at 7:45. And that is this week's Christmas special roundup. Let me know in the chats or in the comments which special you're most looking forward to. So anyway, that's our show. As I said, if you have any questions on how to do Disney for people with disabilities, let me know in the chat if you're watching this live, or in the comments if you're watching this later, and I'll make sure it gets into a future episode. For this week's shout-outs, make sure you guys check out my buddy Beth over at Beth's Disney Adventures. She did a stream from the Character Warehouse at Vinland the other day. Definitely check that out. Also, make sure you guys check out Micah Barnaby's channel, World of Micah. He does great videos from the parks and other great places. Definitely check him out. Also, make sure you guys check out my pal Tamia over at Tamia Smiles. She does great content on both her YouTube and her Instagram. Definitely check her out as well. Also, make sure you guys check out Just a Guy and a Girl. They do great live streams from Disneyland. Definitely check them out as well. If you haven't subscribed here yet to the Big John Network, what in the Walt Disney World are you waiting for? And ding the bell for notifications so you never miss a second of the fun. And until next time, may the mouse be with you.